Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host Jennifer, and today Premier released a new yarn today, okay? And it's called Raffia. It's called Raffia. Now, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I have never used Raffia. I wasn't even sure what to do with it. But here we are, we have some. So we're going to discuss and we're going to have a little class and we're going to educate ourselves on what exactly Raffia is. So I actually had to use Google because I have seen Raffia mostly in thrift stores. I have touched it, I have felt it, and every time I have seen Raffia in this form, it has been in the party supply sections, like with the ribbons and the bows for like wrapping presents and stuff like that. So I didn't know you could crochet with this. I'm gonna be real blunt and honest with you. So maybe me showing you the new yarn is not the best person, because this is not in my wheelhouse at all. So Premier Yarns has released the new Raffia, and this is the color chambray. It's a 100% cellulose rayon, so it's made from a plant. It's a bulky number 5. It says hand wash and dry flat, and it recommends a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, so I know from experience, because like I said, I have ran across this stuff multitude of times, usually in a thrift store type situation. Now it comes on a cardboard tube, and as you can see, I did this. This is not how it came. I did this because I remembered it feeling like paper. You know, we'll cut the piece off. I remembered it feeling like paper. So it looks like this. It sounds like this. Okay, I'm just gonna cut it flat. And it's kind of like ribbon shaped on the spool, but when you open it up, because it's open, you can open it up. It looks like this, and it's like paper. Okay. Now, this is why I was a little worried to do this video, because honestly I have no idea. I don't know what to do with this other than to decorate a present with ribbon. And you could use this for decorating for your presents. You could use it for that. So I googled raffia yarn. What is raffia yarn? I just googled it, and it says raffia is a natural sustainable fiber made from the leaves of the raffia palm trees. It's known for its eco-friendliness, versatility, and unique texture, making it a popular choice for various crafting projects like hats, bags, and home decor. Okay, so my concern is, how is it going to hold up in water? Because it says it is hand wash and dry flat. So I actually did Google, can you wash raffia? And it says that if you get it wet, that it will lose its shape somewhat to spot wash it. So keep that in mind. And Premier did release, and they do every time Premier releases a new yarn, they have the designers over at Premier Yarns release patterns so that you know how to use the yarn, what to use it on, give you ideas on what you could use the yarn and what it works up like. So they have a tutorial for, or not a tutorial, they have a pattern for this cute little bag. Okay. Garden Whimsy Tote. It's a free crochet pattern on premieryarns.com. It says that it takes 3 balls of the yarn to make the bag. The directions are real simple. You make one side, you make another side. And actually they have another bag that's very similar to this on their website, to where you make 2 flaps. I actually made it. I just got rid of it yesterday or the day before because I donated it. And then you make like that part that connects the 2 sides so that's flat. They have a bag similar to this on their website already, because I made it and I know that. Now, I could make a bag with this yarn. I could, but it also says that you can make Hats, bags, and home decor items. So I was thinking about making like a basket, first of all. I was thinking about making a basket, but I'm also thinking hats. Like, this would make a pretty decent straw looking hat for like the garden, right? So we could do that. Raffia yarn has a somewhat rough, light, and straw-like texture. I will say that that is in fact true and accurate, which adds to its unique aesthetic appeal. It's commonly used in crochet, knitting, weaving, and other crafts, particularly for making baskets, hats, bags, and more home decor items. I can't think, aside from a basket, what home decor item I would use this for. If you guys have worked with raffia, can you guys please put in the comments below so we can educate everybody? Can raffia get wet? The fiber itself is not considered waterproof. If soaked, it has the potential to lose a considerable amount of body. I'm just reading stuff off of Google. Apparently it's pretty easy to work with, and the raffia yarn has a nice modern crochet bag look and lightweight. The yarn is also great for summer crochet projects like a sun hat, a crochet beach bag. Oh, I see it for a beach bag. Because it reflects the heat very well. So this might make a good like sun hat. So yeah, we're gonna work with it. And I'm debating right now, do I want to make a hat or do I want to make a basket? Because I believe I would have more than enough to make a hat. This ball has 131 yards, and I can make a sun hat with a ball of cotton. So I know that this would probably make a sun hat. I'm leaning more towards a sun hat. And I'm going to tell you why I'm leaning towards a sun hat. Because I have a big head. If you're new here, I have a large head. My head is larger than your average hat, and it's only 1 or 2 inches bigger than your normal hat sizes. I have never been able to buy a cute summer hat, like the sun hats, from a store because they don't fit my head. They just sit right on top because I'm just slightly, you know, I got a larger brain than other people. You guys want to make a sun hat with me? I think it'll be fun. It's a pretty color. I have 3 balls of this. So let's make a sun hat. Let's go. I know Premier's pushing the bags, but like, let's make a sun hat. Let's see what we can do for a sun hat. Sun hats are really easy. Now, what crochet hook do I use? Because this feels like paper, I'm afraid if I use a hook that's too sharp, it will tear it. So I'm thinking probably an acrylic or resin hook. 5mm, that's not gonna work. It says 6, but I kind of feel like 6 is on the small side. I feel like I would probably use a bigger hook. We're going to have to work up a swatch the size of this. We got 6mm pink Omi crochet hook. We'll use this. Let's go down to the table. We'll work up a circle. We'll play with the yarn. And then we'll make a sun hat. How's that sound? And then we can give further opinions. Because like I said, I've never had rayon yarn. Ever. Well, no, that's not true. I've had rayon, nylon from rayon. I've never had cellulose rayon, which is, I've never had the raffia. All right, let's go down to the table. All right, ooh, we're wiggling. There we go. All right, so first of all, it's going to be an outer pull situation. So I think I'm going to put this on my tool thing, this thing, my pendulum. Because I just like, when I outer pull, I like using my pendulum thing. This is available on Amazon. I use it on Amazon. It's already like, it's like ready to go. It's like, come on, I'm ready. I just don't have enough room on my desk for this. Alright, so we're using 6mm hook because that's what it recommends. What did the pattern for the bag say? Let's see. Pattern. Does it not say a crochet hook? Oh, right there. 5mm? You know what? We're going to start with the 6 and see what happens. This feels like a big 6 though. I mean, that's looking like a 7 at least. We're going to try it with a... Now, if we're going to work in the round, we need to start with a magic circle, which is just basically a glorified slip knot. So to make a circle, you just do like we do our magic circle. Pull up a loop. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm chaining 2. I'm going to double crochet 11 more times in here. So that's 2. So we need a total of 12. I don't know if this is going to work. 3, 4. This feels exactly what crocheting with paper would feel like. 5. Whoops. I'm curious how my skin is going to tolerate this because you guys know I have a form of eczema that is reactive with certain chemicals or materials. And because I've never worked with this before, I don't know how my skin is going to react. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. 8. 9. See if that is even. Oh yeah, you can pull that. Alright, that's not too bad. 10. I wasn't real sure that was going to pull for a magic circle. 11. And 12. Alright. Well, we got us a circle. So whether it turns into... Yep. It ripped a little bit. Alright, look, we pulled it still kind of tight. It's tighter than I expected it to pull. Okay. We're going to slip stitch this. Yeah, I don't feel like a 5mm would work. I could be wrong. Chain 2, and then we're going to put 2 double crochets in each stitch. We should have 24 at the end of this row. And we could whatever we're doing right now could turn into, we could, this is a dual tutorial. 2 double crochets in each stitch, you should have 24 at the end of the row. This is going to be a basket slash a hat, because you could make it either way. Real honesty. Because it's going to be exactly the same. And this is just basically working in the round, which you can do, oops, any pattern that starts with a circle. This is how you do it. I apologize if the sound of this paper is irritating to anybody else. Do people really use this stuff? I know Premier's gonna be mad. Like, stop saying bad stuff about our yarn. I don't know that I like it. It's weird. I think I'm gonna love the hat when it's done, or the basket, whatever we, whatever we decide. It very much feels like a straw hat. It really does. It feels like what a straw hat would feel. And it's a pretty color. And I think a straw hat is a unique use of this yarn. Like I said, there's just not enough room on my desk for everything. I got a real busy desk today. I got a lot going on. I'm trying to prepare. I'm going out of town, and so I'm trying to prepare with making a bunch of videos. Still not feeling real hot, but you know, it is what it is. Two double crochet in each stitch. I wonder if this gets softer with wear or if it will stay stiff. And if that, what is this actually the stuff that they make the hats out of? Let's Google that. What are straw sun hats made from? Natural fibers like raffia, tocquila straw, wheat straw, seagrass, or sometimes synthetic materials like paper braid. These materials are often chosen for their lightness, breathability, and ability to block harmful UV rays. So, they actually do use this for sun hats. Alright, so we got our second row done. So the next row, we're going to do chain 3. 1, 2, 3, double crochet in that same stitch. Just put a double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and do that all the way around. 2 double crochet in one, then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, then 1 double crochet. Okay, so you should have increase, no increase, increase, no increase. So see how there's 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. That's how we work in the round, folks. This stuff is hard on the hands. If you have sensitive skin, I'm not going to recommend it. I think it's going to make a cool hat though. And I kind of feel like I need a sun hat because I do really like working outside. And sometimes the cotton ones are just too heavy. I also just donated 3 cotton sun hats, so. I'm just doing that all the way around. It's 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. Oops. And of course you could follow the same pattern and use like a cotton yarn if you wanted. Another really good yarn for this would probably be the new cotton, what is the name of that cotton yarn from Premier Yarns that we used recently? Let me go to Premier Yarns website. See if I can find it. New yarn. It's called cotton something or another. The Candy Shop. That would also be really good for a sewn hat. And that's $4.99. Did I tell you what colors these came in? If I find the sheet on my phone. The stuff retails for $6.99 a ball. And it comes in some really pretty colors. So if you wanted a more traditional white or like taupey, tanny color, they do have those available. I kind of like the pink right there. It's called Petal. And the golden. I like the golden. But also, you could absolutely use this for gift wrapping and stuff. I know that Grandma used to do, before Grandma got sick, she used to do Christmas presents for everybody, and she loved buying yarn and stuff like this just to make like little special touches on her wrapping. I just ripped through that with the crochet hook. That's why we're not using the metal hook on this. Because when it's coming off, it's wanting to be unfolded, and it's weaker like that, so it needs to be kept folded. I'm also curious with the wet situation like. Maybe we'll do a test on it and get a piece wet and see what actually happens, because, well, a crocheted piece up. Because I'm curious, will this be softer on our heads if we get it wet? Or should we just not get it wet at all? I have so many questions. I have so many questions. See how it's unraveling? And this is slow going because it's hard on the hands. Pardon the background noise. I have a bunch of people in the house. All of my children are home for the time being. And apparently I missed a stitch somewhere because my stitch count is off. But we're just going to fudge it because that's how we do on cinnamon stitches. We fudge it. Slip stitch to join. Boop. Oh, that ain't a boop situation. Alright, so it's already trying to curl up on us. That is, what? 1, 2, that's row 3. Row 4 is going to be similar to the previous row, except we're going to do chain 3. Double crochet in the same stitch. And then just put a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Just a single double crochet. A solitary double crochet. So that I don't confuse anybody. And then in the 3rd stitch there, put 2 double crochet in the same stitch. I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. So it's increase, which is the 2, and then a double crochet and a double crochet. Increase, double crochet, double crochet. And I'm not going to make you watch me struggle through this whole row, so I'm going to pause. And I will be back at the end of this row. Alright, I actually have the stitch count right on this row. Now, I got to the end of this row, and I already measured it, and I'm going to show you how I measured it. Slip stitch it. Alright. Now if you just take and you lay it flat, or you put something heavy on it so that it lays flat, because it's wanting to curl up on me a little bit, and you just take your little measuring tape and wrap it all the way around the perimeter like this. You want to get it accurate, so you want to make sure that that lays flat. And if I pull it all the way around, I am at about 20.5 inches. Okay, all the way around. If you have a 21 inch head, go to the next step. I have to do at least 1 or 2 more increase rows because my head is, I think, 23 inches. Last time I measured, but I did give myself a concussion recently and my head did swell up from that. So, well, yeah, my head definitely swelled up. Let me take my headband off because I'm at 24 inches now. But, like I said, I gave myself a real good knock on the head. Yeah, I'm at 24 inches. I am generally a 23 inch head. So my head has grown an inch. A little bit disturbing. It's a little bothersome. Maybe I should have went and got an x-ray, huh? I got at least a couple more rows to go. If you have a 20 inch head or a 21 inch head, you can stop here and wait until I give you further instructions. Because what we're going to do after we stop increasing is we're just going to we might single crochet, but I think that might be harder on our, we'll try it. We're just going to crochet in the round and stop doing the increases, so 1 in each stitch. But because I need at least, I'm going to say probably 2 more rows of increase, we're going to do that. And we're just going to continue the same pattern. Chain 3, double crochet in that same stitch. And then now, because the last row was an increase and 2 double crochets, this row will be an increase and 3 double crochets. So we'll put a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, oops, 3, and then an increase, and repeat that all the way around. Increase is 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. I love you, baby. Drive safe. Call me when you get there or text me. You hear me? You hear me? Text me when you get there. Okay. So 3 double crochet. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on what crochet hook to use with this. If you're going to use an acrylic hook, make sure it's one that, make sure it's thick enough here that's not going to snap. Okay? Make sure that it's got a thick enough throat on it that's not going to snap. If you're going to use a metal hook, may I recommend the dots hooks or something similar like this head, because there's nothing sharp here and the head is, it's all rounded bits, so that it doesn't rip. And do not under any circumstances use a metal hook that has like a chrome or a gold plating on the metal part. And the reason that is because what's going to happen is this is going to scrape off the finish. I do have a couple of Furls Odyssey hooks, and they don't make them anymore, but I know that they're coming out with the new colored metal hooks. Don't use any of those kind of hooks on something like this. You will destroy the finish on your hook and you won't be able to use it. So increase 1, 2, 3. So it's time for another increase. And then I'm going to measure it again after this row, because my double crochets are generally about 1 inch. Ah, look at that, spot on. So that should add 1 inch on all sides. So I don't know what that's going to mean in the grand scheme of things, but I'm going to finish up this row and I'm going to measure it around. And if it's 23 or 24, I'm going to go for 24 inches because I don't want anything tight on my head. And when we get to that point, we will continue on to the next section. 1, 2, 3, time for an increase. And I will be back at the end of this row. Don't forget, this row is an increase and then 3 double crochet and then an increase and then 3 double crochet all the way around. And the next row, in case you want to skip ahead, if you need that row, is going to be an increase and 4 single crochet all the way around. Alright. I know it's hard to see because I had to like really finagle this to get it around the perimeter because it's curling. But we are at, I'm going to say 24.5 inches. So I'm going to call that for an extra large head. So I think this is going to work. Now if you find that you just added too many inches on between the last row, like let's say you're 22 inches. You're not a 24 inch head like me, but the 20 is just a little too small. Make this next row like singles or half double crochets and it will work out. Okay, now because this is as big around as my head is, it's the 24 inches, the next several rows is just going to be whatever stitch you decide to do. So it could be double crochets, it could be, and I just chained 3 because I'm going to do double crochets for this row, and I think I'm going to attempt a different stitch in the next row. I'm just going to put a double crochet in every stitch all the way around. I really don't think that using a 5mm hook, anything smaller than a 6mm, I don't think it would be pleasant to work with at all for me. And I feel like this is very good for a straw hat or a beach hat because you have all these spaces to where the air can flow through, but it's still blocking the sun. Oh, I didn't mean to bang you. Sorry, guys. It's still going to block the sun. It's going to give you a nice little breeze through your hat. And we're just going to continue repeating this row until we stick this on our head and it fits like a hat should fit. Okay, and then we'll start the brim, and the brim is super easy. So because our last row, whatever your last row was, so if your last row was like mine and it was an increase and 1, 2, 3 double crochets in between the increase, let me get paper. And an ink pen. Turn to a clean page. Alright, so if your last row was the 20 to 21 inch row, and that was an increase and 2 double crochets, right? Yes. Then when you're done with this and you start the brim, your brim will be an increase and 3 double crochets for that very first row. Okay, depending on how big we make the increase, we're going to follow the same pattern that we did here. But because mine is the 24-inch head, my last row was a V-stitch, which was the increase, and then 3 double crochets. So my brim row will be the increase and then 4 double crochet for the first row of that. Okay, so this one is Jen's. This one's for people with low peanut heads. Alright, and we're not there yet, so we don't have to worry about that. You like my pen from the Dollar Tree? It's a fidget pen. Super fun. Super, super fun. Alright. So, but we're not there yet. Right now we're making the part that goes around our head. And I really think I want this part to be single crochets, but I'm going to do this first row double crochets. And then when we start the next row, I think I'm going to try single crochets and see how I like the look of that better. And because all I'm doing right now is double crocheting in the round, you don't really need to watch this, so I'm going to pause because this row is kind of big. And at the end of the row, we'll come back and we're going to test out and see how we like doing single crochet. Now, if you just want to make a basket, you can make the basket exactly the same way as this. You just do this and then do this until the basket is as tall as you want it. So you could also make a basket out of this. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, I switched hooks. I switched to my dots hooks because I was fighting it with the resin hook, so we're going to put that one back. And I find that the dot middle hook is going much, much smoother. It wasn't like as, it's more, okay? So, I also took the hat, we were crocheting it this way. I flipped it like this. I just curled the edges around, because this part that's facing us is supposed to be the top part of the hat. This is the right side of the hat, whereas this is the wrong side. And if you can't tell the difference, I'm not going to be able to tell. It's not that big of a deal. Just, that's the right side, that's the wrong side, okay? And it really don't matter. But as you can see, the brim, not saying the brim, this part of the hat is starting to curl up more and more. This would be such a pretty basket. You set your keys in there. You could probably make really cute placemats out of this. See, now I'm thinking of stuff. This would be cute for like picnic stuff, you know? Now that I'm working with it, I'm getting a better idea of what the use of this yarn could possibly be. Alright, I'm going to just chain one, because I'm going to attempt to do single crochets with this row. I'm not a big fan of single crochets because I find them slow and tedious. I generally would prefer to do half double, but I'm just seeing how the single crochet work out. And like I said, we're going to just repeat just one stitch in every stitch of the previous row. My hook keeps getting caught in there. It's driving me crazy because I'm working on a desk. And if I was working on my stomach, because I generally hold my things close to me and I use either my stomach or my Volare pillow, If I was doing either of those, this would be fine because my hook would be away from the project a little more, but because I'm working on a desk. Oh yeah, see, I think I like the single crochet a little better. It's not as hard to, like the double crochet seemed to fight me a little more. This hook also made a big difference. That is a pro tip for you guys from Cinnamon Stitches, okay? Have a variety of types of hook. And I know some of you are stuck. I am only a boy hook user. I am only a tulip girl hook user. I know you guys get stuck with I only like one kind of hook. I know that. You've been using the same hook for 40 years. I get those comments all the time. Sometimes though, when you're working a project and it's fighting you and you're like, oh, I hate this yarn, and you're blaming the yarn. It's not necessarily the yarn's fault. It could be that the hook and the yarn are not compatible. That is a fact of things. Hooks are shaped differently, and sometimes it'll snag the yarn a little more. It won't glide through the yarn a little more. It will split the yarn a little more. That's why I always suggest having a variety of hook. That's why you will never see me work with the same hook twice. I try to find a hook that makes my job as a crocheter easier. And today, the dots hook was the winner. And my favorite Omi hook was not. And that's okay. That is okay. However, this thing keeps unraveling like excessively, and because it's stiff, it's getting on my nerves. Okay? I'm just gonna say that. I'm getting excited about the prospect of having an actual beach hat that fits me though. Not that I've been to the beach anytime soon, but or anytime recently. In fact, I don't remember the last time I went to the beach. It's been a couple years. I'm going this year though. I'm taking myself, I'm gonna go chunky dunk in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm gonna do it. If I gotta drive by myself, I'm going. My husband's not a beach goer. He grew up 20-30 minutes from the ocean. So to him, the ocean ain't nothing special. But to me, I grew up in Michigan. We had lakes everywhere. My parents never even took us to the Great Lakes. I think I saw Lake Huron for the first time when I was 10 or 11. And we were closest to Lake Erie, but Lake Erie is a dirty lake, okay? You don't want to swim in Lake Erie. Lake Erie is gross. The water often smells like motor oil because there's all the ships and stuff. Yeah. I don't like Lake Erie. And then I didn't discover Lake Michigan until Juju was a baby. Juju was like, I don't know, 3 or 4. I mean, I've been to these places, I've seen them. Like, I saw Lake Michigan when I was 20. But I never went and swam in Lake Michigan until, let's see, Juju was born when I was 25. So, let's say 28, 29, almost 30. Just crazy you live that close to such beauty, but we didn't have money growing up to travel. So, like, we would go camping sometimes, but we didn't go very far. And we would sometimes go up north to, my dad had friends that had cabins. We would go up north to their cabins, but it was a handful of times. It's not like, you know, we ever went anywhere. We would go to the lake closest to the house, which was about an hour and a half drive. Alright, now this is the time you want to put this on your head. Make sure that it fits, okay? Because it's looking on the small side to me. No, it's on par that it should fit. If at this point this part feels too tight on you because you got a real big head like me, or maybe you did the 20 to 21 inches and it feels a little bit, you can put like 4 or 5 increases randomly throughout here to get it to be just a little bit bigger to fit your head if you want. It's just a little tip. Alright, let's try half double crochet and see. I just chain one for a half double crochet and see how we like the half double crochet and how that feels. Definitely feels better than the double crochet with this. And it's a little bit taller than the single crochet, so it feels like we're making progress a little faster. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat whatever stitch you want to use for your hat. Single, half double, double. I don't even care if you did granny stitch around here. If you want a granny stitch hat, you make a granny stitch hat. Whatever stitch you want to use for these rows, you can do that. Make it your own hat. I always say that. I'm going to do this row in half double crochet. I'm going to do a couple more rows on my own. I'm going to watch a podcast while I crochet. And then we'll do the brim together. I don't know how many rows this is going to take because we're creating this together. We're figuring it out as we go. And this hook is going so much faster. You guys see how much faster this hook is going than that other one? It's just like, it's not sliding like it's butter, but it's gliding a lot better. And then I will be back. Just keep trying it on. Like every 2 rows, try it on. You want this part of the hat, because we're making a bucket hat. You want it to sit on your head. And you want this part to reach where a normal brimmed hat would reach, like right above your ears or right at your ears. You don't want it to go past your ears because it's a brim. And also, I think this would probably like irritate your ear. It would definitely irritate my ears, rub it on my ears. So I'm going to aim for this to go probably another 2 inches before it reaches my ears, and then we'll put a brim on it. And that's perfect timing because my battery just died. So we'll be back when I do a couple more rows. Alright, now I did, for my big giant head, I did a row of singles, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of half doubles. And it fits my head. This part of the hat touches me just at the top of my ear, and the front of the hat touches my hairline. So if you have a really big forehead, I mean, that might not help you, but it fits pretty well. So if I fold it in half, keep in mind I have a big head, so I'm measuring this off my head. You're gonna have to measure it off your head. It is 6.5 inches tall, but if you have a smaller head, you obviously could take off a row or 2 for that. It kind of lays flat. It actually is a really pretty basket. It makes a really pretty basket. Just at this point, it would make a nice basket. You could use these make them in different sizes to set a bowl inside of for, you know, picnic stuff. Like I said, you can make placemats out of this. I'm thinking of all kinds of different stuff now that I could think of that I couldn't think of before, now that I'm using it and get an understanding of what this feels like. If you've seen anything in a store that looks like wicker or straw or any of those things, you probably could use this as long as it's not going to get real wet. Alright, so I am ready to start the brim. And like I already gave you guys the directions, whatever your last row is, we're just going to increase. So if your last row was an increase in 2 double crochet, then this row will be an increase in 3 double crochet. My row is going to be an increase in 4 double crochet for this row. And of course, the next row will be an increase in 5 double crochet, and etc. Because that's how we get it to be a flat disc. If you add too many stitches, it's going to go real wonky. It's going to get like ruffly, and I don't think that will be real cute with this type of yarn. I mean, it looks cuter with like a floppy hat. I don't think that will be cute with this one. And I think I'm going to stick with the half double crochets for the brim and see if that works out. So I'm going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch because I want the material to be closed off for the brim, and I want it to be a little bit tighter, whereas this is a little bit looser. So I like the way the half doubles look. So I did 2 half doubles in the first row, and then I'm going to do 4 half doubles. So 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, 4, and an increase. And then 4 half double crochets. and then an increase all the way around. You can make your brim as many rows as you want, and if you can see, it's already starting to fold out and create the brim. So it's doing exactly what it should be doing. I kind of want a wide brim, at least a couple inches. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do this row. And the next row I'm going to do an increase in 5 half doubles. And the next row will be an increase in 6 half doubles. Probably go up to 7 before we check it and see how that brim is looking. And of course, you don't need me to show you how to do that. It's really just that simple. So we got our increase and 4 half doubles. And then an increase all the way around. The next row we're going to slip stitch to join, chain 1, just like we did for the previous rows where we were increasing. Nothing has changed. It's not anything complicated, it's not anything difficult. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to let you finish this row out, because this row, every row is going to get bigger because of those increases. So yeah, I'll see you at the end of this row. All right. Hang on. Sorry about that. That was my daughter. So I actually did the next 2 rows. So I did the row where we did the 4 double crochet in the increase, and then I did the row with the 5 double crochet in the increase. Just going to slip stitch to join, and I wanted to show you that it is in fact turning into a brim. I mean, it's a very small brim, and it's probably going to take, I don't know, several more rows to get this to brim sized. You could absolutely wear it just like this and it will still be a cute little bucket hat, but I'm gonna go for a much bigger brim. I don't think you guys need to see the rest of the tutorial. Like, you don't need to see me filming that, because we're just gonna continue on with whatever that first row was, which for me was 4 double crochet and an increase, which is down here. This is 5 double crochet and an increase. The next row will be 6 double crochet, 7 double crochet and an increase, 8 double crochet and an increase, 9 double crochet and an increase, 10 double crochet and an increase, until the brim is the size that I want it to be, or until I run out of yarn. But I don't think I'm going to run out of yarn because I have 3 balls here. So I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep making the brim bigger and bigger and bigger just by following that same, keep going in the round. You can use double crochet if you want here. You can use single crochet if you want here. You can use half double like I am. Whatever stitch you feel is what you want your brim to look like. I feel like the closed up stitches of the half double crochet makes it a little more sturdy for a brim. So that's what I'm opting to do. But you could do the double crochets like we have here. That doesn't bother me at all. So whatever you decide to do, just continue on with this until the brim is the size you want. And I will come back and show you and talk about how many rows I did to complete the brim. And yeah, you're on your own for this. And then also, I think when I'm done making the brim, I am debating on crocheting a strip around here to give it like a band, or a flower or 2 out of just regular acrylic or cotton yarn. So I'm going to decorate it up a little bit too. Those are options that you have to make your hat your own. But I will be back when the brim is done. Alright, so I finished the hat. The hat did end up waving a little bit. I wanted this to be completely flat. However, I know if I lay this on a flat table and I stretch it out, and I know you guys can't see that, but if I stretch it out, and if I starched it, it would lay more flat. But I actually don't mind a little bit of the ripple because I think it's an adorable hat. Now, I don't know how to weave in the ends because these stitches are very, very tight. So if anybody has any, and I haven't even tried, I'm going to try. I need to find a sewing in needle. But this is what it looks like Now, I look silly in these style hats, so if you don't think that I look adorable, I don't either. It's a cute hat though. See, I'm trying to flatten out the wave, but I kind of like the wave a little bit. I think when you guys see this on Monday Makes, it will be more decorative. I'm going to crochet a band and maybe a cute flower for the side. That's not going to be part of the tutorial because, I mean, decorate it how you want. There's plenty of ways that you can figure out how to like put little details on it. I think this is a perfect sun. See, I don't know. Do I like it better completely flat? Because I know that I could fix it. It's fine. It's a beach hat. That's what it is. I have no idea where my needles are. I have no idea where they are. The hat. Now that I've worked with the yarn, I'm gonna be honest, when I started this tutorial and even working through some of it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this yarn. I don't know how I feel about this yarn, and what you will always get on Cinnamon Stitches is an honest, 100% honest review on my opinions and my feelings. I think I have to go in the other room and find my needles because I don't see any in here. And did the yarn hurt my hands? Yeah. But unlike some basic acrylics that I can't use, or even some wools, normally I get blisters in between here because that's how I run my yarn. Well, actually, hang on. Yeah, this is the right hand. I run my yarn like this, and that's how I control tension. So right here is going to be the first place I'm going to, I have eczema, I did say that in the video. That's the first place I'm going to get either blisters or tears in my skin. And I don't have any, and I have not applied lotion in a couple of days. So none of the marks that are actually on my hand. There's a weird mark there, but I don't think that's from the yarn. Yeah, no, I don't know what that's from. It didn't cause me any issues, and that's the #1 thing that I look out for, is because a lot of you guys have said, I rely on your opinion, Cinnamon Stitches, because I have eczema too, or I have skin sensitivities too, and I rely really heavily on your opinions on how it affects our skin. I'll find a way to weave that in or cut it later. I don't know. I'm just going to pretend that doesn't exist. So my final wrap up on this yarn, first of all, it was rough. It was hard to crochet at times. But I'm going to be real honest with you. There is not another hat in the world, unless I have one special made for Cinnamon Stitches, that's going to fit my head, because I have a big head. So if you have a big head and you need, see, I feel like that's where the increase was. So the increase is where it curved. I feel like if you have a big head and you've always wanted a fun sun hat, beach hat, and you've never been able to find one that fits you, this is a really good option. I also think if you have tough skin and you can handle this type of yarn, this would be really cool placemats, like wicker placemats, or I don't know how these would hold up. Let's Google that. I don't know how these would hold up to heat. Can you use raffia yarn for hot pads? No, you cannot use this. It's not suitable for hot pads. See, that says Raphael. That's not Raphael. I didn't say Raphael. Raffia. Yes, it can be used for hot pads, especially when a natural breathable texture is desired. However, it is important to note that raffia has a lower heater resistance than some other natural fibers, so it's not a best choice for very high heat or prolonged direct contact with hot objects. So this would not be good for like setting a hot pan on your, why would you do that anyway? They'll put it in a bowl. If it's a warm bowl, it would work. So yeah, you could use that for a hot pad, but just be gentle with it. Don't put something real hot on it. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't use it for pot holders at all. I think the beach hat is a perfectly wonderful idea for this. Bags even. This reminds me of, like, you know, when you go on vacation, and since summer is coming and vacation time is coming, or holiday if you're not in America. If you're gonna go on holiday, they always sell cute beach hats and like the raffia style bags in touristy locations. Make yourself one before you go and save yourself a little bit of money. This took one entire ball and part of a second one, and the second one really was only the last 3 rows of this. So this is a whole ball. This is what I used off of that ball, so not a lot at all. I have enough to make another hat and possibly a small bag. This is what the hat turned out like. For the brim, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of half double crochet, and I did the final row as double crochet, and I increased in all of those rows. I'm also thinking if I did a row of double crochet around the edge and made it even bigger, and I didn't put any increases, it would stop some of the wobbliness. But again, I don't mind that. I think it's adorable. I really like the way that it turned out. Every one of those boops is where the increases are. So yeah, I just need to figure out how to weave that in. So I will absolutely go today. I'm going to decorate this. I'm going to put something on. I will show you the finished object on Monday Makes video, which I probably will be recording today, which is Wednesday. And this will definitely keep the sun. Oh, here. You got to have the full look, because this is technically a moo-moo, but I could see people wearing this outside, like over their bathing suit, like especially the rich, fancy people. Wow, my screen disappeared entirely behind these glasses. I can't see myself. My screen turned entirely black. These are prescription sunglasses, and they have the UV and all that filtration, so I cannot see myself at all through these glasses. So what do you think? Do I look like I'm going to the beach? I can't see myself because my glasses are on, but what do you think? Oh, hang on. What would I have at the beach? We'll pretend I'm one of those. Where's a book? I know I have a book in here. We'll be one of those fancy people, you know, that sit by the pool but don't actually go in the pool. I'm reading my book. I'm watching passerbys. I'm sipping a beverage. Yeah. Ooh, that water's num-nums. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for this really cute little sun hat. I really do hope you make one. If you are interested in buying the raffia yarn, it does come in pretty colors for beautiful beach hats. And to stop the rippling, if you don't like that, stop decreasing like 3 rows before you finish it. And that should stop the rippling. And I'm not going to frog it back because I don't mind it entirely. So I finally have my first beach hat. This was technically a tutorial, but it was also a review because like I said, I have never used the raffia yarn. I've never bought it. I've never been gifted it. I've seen it mostly in thrift stores. I don't really see it in shops even. Probably in the fancy bougie shops. But I can definitely see where this would... And in the beginning, I'm going to be honest, I did not see a purpose for this yarn. I'm like, why do they keep releasing this type of yarn? What do you do with it? Because I just didn't know. And now that doing some research and making a really cute little sun hat, I may have to make my daughter one too. I think she probably would prefer white because she has flaming red hair. And I'm going to decorate it and make it even prettier. And I could even make it a blossom hat, right? We could do this. And then put a big flower right there. We just be blossom. I mean, that looks ridiculous. Who do I look like? Oh my god, it's from a 70s show. It's a guy. I want to say Gump. I don't think that's his name. My dad used to watch him. If you know, you know. Who do I look like? It almost matches my moo-moo, does it not? Alright, I'm going to shut up. Thank you for watching. If you make a sun hat, and you could attempt using this pattern with cotton, it would work very well. But I do recommend using this because it feels more like an actual straw hat that you would buy. And, I mean, you could make these in kid sizes. You can make them in adult sizes. And you have a fun sun hat. And it'll keep the sun off your face. And it'll keep you from getting all, like, age spotty and crinkly and burnt. And all that fun stuff. If you do make one of these, I would really love to see it. So you can post pictures on the social medias and tag me. Or send me an email. And if you decide to buy some of the raffia for some cool things like a placemat, a set of placemats for your outdoor situation or even indoor, these would make really cool placemat. That screams placemat to me. It really does. And yeah, I do have this yarn linked below. It is an affiliate link. I do make a small percentage back if you purchase any. And if you don't purchase any, that's cool too. You don't need to explain that to me. I just wanted to show you the new yarn Premier has. I wanted to make something fun with it. And I wanted to also gain more experience. Because even though I have a YouTube channel, I do not have all the knowledge of the world of crochet in my head. I don't. I have only been crocheting for, I want to say, 8 or 9 years. So I learned to crochet as a child, but I've only really picked it up in the past 8 or 9 years. So I don't have all the knowledge of crochet in me. I've never worked with this yarn. This is a new experience to me. And we're doing a lot of new things here on the channel lately. And with that, I'm going to let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.